Welcome to this online course provided by the Boosting project on managing risk in circular water systems. This is Module 3, Managing and Monitoring Risk, and in this unit we will focus on control points and their monitoring in water reuse systems. By the end of this unit, you will be able to explain what control points are in a water reuse system and why they're important. You will also be able to describe how monitoring these points helps manage risk, ensuring that the system operates safely and reliably. Finally, you'll understand how continuous monitoring supports early detection of problems and ensures that these safety barriers remain effective over time. Control points are key locations in a water reuse system where risks can be reduced, prevented, or kept under control. You can think of them as safety barriers. A good analogy is the seatbelt in a car. You might not need it all the time, but it's there to protect you when something goes wrong. In the same way, control points act as protection when risks appear. Identifying these points is the starting step in any risk management plan because they show exactly where to focus attention to safeguard health and the environment. Control points can appear at several stages of water reuse system. At the treatment stage, they might include processes like filtration, disinfection, and nutrient removal, all of them acting as barriers that stop contaminants from reaching the next step. At the distribution stage, control points might involve storage tanks, pipelines, and pumps need to be properly maintained to prevent recontamination before the water reaches its final use. And during the use phase, control points might include practices like safe irrigation methods, crop restrictions, or buffer zones that limit exposure to humans and ecosystems. These same principles apply across all reuse contexts. In industry, control points may involve pretreatment or monitoring for scaling and corrosion. In urban reuse, disinfection and distribution controls are key, and for aquifer recharge, infiltration basins and monitoring wells provide essential safeguards. Identifying control points is just the beginning. What truly makes them effective is monitoring. We usually distinguish between two main types of monitoring: operational monitoring and verification monitoring. Operational monitoring involves real-time checks, often using sensors to confirm that the system is working properly. This includes measuring parameters such as turbidity, chlorine residuals, pH, or UV lamp intensity. Verification monitoring provides an independent check, usually through laboratory testing. It focuses on microbial indicators like some pathogens or on the presence of heavy metals and contaminants of emerging concern. Monitoring frequency depends on the parameter. Some parameters are checked daily or continuously, while others are tested monthly or seasonally, and it relies on clear responsibilities. Operators and laboratories conduct routine checks and analysis, and regulators ensure compliance. Together, these activities confirm that control points are actually doing their jobs. Beyond daily checks and laboratory tests, monitoring is also shaped by laws and standards that ensure consistency and accountability. For example, at the European level, the regulation on water reuse defines the minimum monitoring requirements for agricultural water reuse. It defines key microbiological and physicochemical parameters to ensure that reclaimed water is safe for crops and consumers. Furthermore, at the national level, authorities may introduce additional requirements or adapt existing ones to local conditions. For instance, depending on crop type, irrigation method, or reuse purpose such as industrial or urban applications. Finally, these requirements are enforced through regulatory oversight, with authorities ensuring compliance through inspections and audits to keep monitoring systematic and reliable. Let's put all these ideas into practice with an example: a municipal wastewater reuse system for irrigation. The first control point could be at the UV disinfection unit. Operational monitoring uses sensors to measure UV lamp intensity, while verification relies on laboratory testing for some specific pathogens. If the sensor shows that UV intensity has dropped below the critical limit, this deviation increases the likelihood of microbial contamination, moving it into an acceptable risk level on the matrix. The mitigation action is to suspend reuse, repair, or replace the UV lamp and resume operation only once verification monitoring confirms compliance with regulatory standards. The second control point could be at the irrigation stage. Monitoring here ensures the irrigation occurs only under safe conditions. For example, not during prohibited hours or windy conditions that might increase exposure. If such a deviation occurs, irrigation is also automatically stopped. The operator is notified and corrective actions are applied. These actions could include adjusting the scheduling system or retraining staff if needed. This example shows how monitoring is directly connected to the risk matrix and how deviations trigger mitigation or corrective actions reduce risk. Before we close, take a moment to see the main takeaways for this unit. This concludes our look at control points and monitoring. In the next video, we will explore who actually manages these risks, the role of utilities, regulators, and users. Thank you for watching.